Hey, Ranjeet, it looks like you're on mute.
Hi, wonderful.
Wonderful.
How
How
are
are you
you?
doing today, Ranjeet? Doing great.
Wonderful. So what?
You ready to questions? All right. So, our featured question is, I was recently laid off from my job. How might this impact my EB1A application? And are there any specific steps I should take to address this situation?
Wonderful. I think this is a very typical question that people do ask us actually here. So let's understand that EB1A per se has no ramification on the job. In fact, we always say people that okay, fine, that your job does not matter. What are you without your job, without your degrees, or whether any wealth that you're having? What are you, in fact, without that? So, having said this, well, job per se may not play any critical role in terms of, for your EB1A application. But yes, it is very important that, in case you have filed the application, you can always intimate, kind of keep all records of, or intimate USCIS if so required. Otherwise, prima facie, if you have not yet filed the application, you can always give the details. In fact, I can may go to an extent of saying that you may not rather intimate it if your gap between your application and your layoff has been not too long. Let's put it that way. It may not make any much difference in that sense. That would be my first take. My second take would be that you know it is not really a matter, to an extent that one needs to get worried about from this particular perspective. Uh, well, there could be
Well, there
past other jobs, there would be past other jobs, there would be, you have to use them. And I think that should be all actually. I wouldn't give too much importance to this, ideally speaking. But I know that this question concerns a lot of people and they are kind of, worried about it.
Hmm.
So, as simple as that, I would say that.
Wonderful. Our next question is, hi, I have work experience before applying for EB1A. What if I have other criteria aside from work?
Okay, could you just repeat your question?
Yeah, it says, hi, please, must I have work experience before applying for EB1A? What if I have other criteria aside from work experience?
You see,
So
I
maybe
mean, this
someone
is a
told me
very,
you're graduating. Uh-huh.
I find this question bit, kind of a paradoxical that, must I have a work experience before applying for EB1A? I mean, definitely, I think because EB1A is all about you demonstrating and saying that you are extraordinary. Now, I mean, this goes a little step back that how do you prove your extraordinary ability is proved by your knowledge and your impact factor. So the impact factor, it can be done by virtue of your work experience only, a progressive work experience, that too, and by virtue of your knowledge. You may be a PhD, but it won't make any impact for the purpose of EB1A. So whether you should have a work experience or not is not the right question to ask. The question is that what should be I should be concerned with to before applying for EB1A. That should be the right question. So I would say that there has to be an impact factor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't have a work experience, it means that you are saying that okay, fine. Either you are very young, you are just out of college, possibly you are trying to say this, which is going to be very difficult for somebody to apply for EB1A.
Mm-hmm.
Let us put
Yeah,
it that way.
gotcha. So, all right, the next question is from Amol. Could you please advise that the following sites and journals are suitable for meeting the scholarly articles criteria? Alternatively, if you have any recommendations for ideal journals to publish in, that would be greatly appreciated.
Well, I know. I think Amol had reached out to us today, and he gave a long list of certain journals. Actually, Redgate, CodeGuru, SQL Server, MSSQ, MS SQL Tips. I think lot many of them. Now, prima facie, when we are publishing in a journal, I think, and you should be concerned with all the journal merit of a journal and its impact factor. If essentially you are going for a sciences field, actually, that would be my first take. uh, if you are going to go under a business category, I would personally say that you don't have to push yourself too hard on this particular aspect of it also. Like if specifically, since you're asking Amol, I think Redgate would be a technical journal. Code Guru is more like a resource actually. Then we talk about MS SQL tips is just a. I won't give too much of importance this, but yes, there is another one which is HOAB, which is a peer-reviewed journal. I would say that International Journal for Computer Trends and Technology is also peer-reviewed. So if you are going for sciences, these things would matter, and what is the impact factor of that? All the evidences would be required. Science and academic publishing is also, I think, peer-reviewed part aspect of it. So one would see a circulation to whom it is being meant for, and if you, I mean, those citations are not mandatory, but that's just one of the kind of an impact factor that can be utilized actually. So I think I would just leave it at this moment. But I mean, what is the content of the article and how kind of intense it is? I would see that actually, rather than just a mere journal. And that too, if you are going for a sciences or a business category, would make an impact. I hope that answers your question about. Wonderful. So what's next, Megan?
Next is, in my role as an IT expert, I've conducted numerous workshops at technology expos demonstrating innovative use of artificial intelligence. What evidence should I gather from these events to meet the showcase criteria for EB1A?
Okay, using showcase criteria for the purpose of EB1A for a non-artistic field has been a very innovative trend, and some of the folks from the Next League program have utilized it actually. So it's a good attempt, I would say that, but don't rely on this because there has been certain pushbacks, and if the right evidences are not there. Now, the most interesting part here is that one has to be, the word artistic is very important. It's not a showcase criteria; it is an artistic showcase criteria essentially. So there has to be some kind of an innovation or creativity that needs to get demonstrated here. Now, when you are saying that you conducted numerous workshops at a technology expo, by itself it would not be. The creative nature of that is going to be very important, that how did you present the whole initiative in a more creative manner. Was it presented, what were the slides, who were the people, what was the audience that was meant for, is going to be important. I'm just, it is not that you do a speaking engagement or a simple presentation or a presentation of a paper would make a difference. uh, if it is going to be some kind of a presentation, I would rather give it to the scholarly article criteria, because even for a scholarly article, you can, if you have presented some paper at a conference, that is allowed. But for this particular purpose, I would just say that showcase criteria, you know, I would go into more creative aspect. You need to tell us more intensely that what the presentation is all about, and then possibly we can definitely help you out.
It's excellent. Thank you. Next up is Cheyenne. He says, I've been involved in a high profile project that won an innovation award. Can I utilize this experience to prove leadership in my field and or meet critical role or original contribution, or both?
Wonderful. It is not about leadership in your field that is necessarily important. It is about the in a critical or a leading role that you did for the organization that matter, which should be distinguished. Now, there are different metrics by which you can prove the distinguished nature of the organization. There are, at least I think in our program, we have defined some 21 metrics here in terms of, what is size of the organization, number of employees, what has been the impact of the organization, what has been the media highlights about the organization. These are some of the small items that, not small items, but then in detail, you need to give it in a very comprehensive way with the evidences. If you are able to do that, this would make sense actually. And then you have to talk about the criticality of your role. So, what were the rare skill sets? What was the impact factor that was demonstrated by virtue of your role? It would be. So, if you are saying that you are involved in a high profile international projects, now what was the impact of that? What was the high profile nature of the project actually? That is very important. And if you are able to do that, it is going to be very good. And I think you are further saying that it won a global innovation award. Now, whether the award was given to you or the company is also important. If it was given to you, you can also use it for the award criteria. I would say that. So Megan, let's take a last question for the day today.
Okay, great. Last question is, says, I have my PhD. Can I use the PhD degree and the work I've done during my PhD to fulfill any of the EB1A criteria?
Okay, now this is a very popular question, and I would rather say that PhD would not have any material impact. But what you derive out of your PhD is a knowledge, and what has been the impact factor of that knowledge is going to be more important for you for the purpose of your EB1A. I think we have seen people who are even undergraduates. We have helped them to achieve their EB1A. People feel that okay, fine, they are not even masters, but that does not matter. And your PhD also would not matter for that matter. But yes, the way you do things in your PhD, I think it is going to make an impact for you. So I think you leverage the knowledge that you have earned. Degree by itself is going to be completely, kind of irrelevant. So I think that would be all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next Saturday.
Absolutely. And friends, if you have any more questions, do write to us. And if you want to join the next league program, please reach out to Megan or me, and we'll be happy to help you. And do write to us for your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.